What's up, guys? We're back with another episode of Boost Brothers Garage. This time, it's not a good one. I don't know. The car's making some weird noises. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. Stay tuned. Well, this is the first time we've had the car up since the exhaust has been installed, and as you can see, it is turning all sorts of pretty shades of gold and purple. I don't see anything just yet as to what's wrong with the car. I'm gonna have Zach go ahead and fire it up, and we're gonna take a listen and see if we can find it. Put it in gear. Slowly go. What I did just find, I'm not 100% certain that this is the problem yet, but the O2 extension is loose. So we're gonna keep looking into that. We went ahead and tightened that O2 extender up. We're gonna start the car up now. I don't feel like this is gonna fix it, but as always, I hope it does. We'll see you here in a second. Next step, potentially a blown header gasket. I used my stethoscope, Dr. Mike, in the house to listen to the internals of the engine. I didn't hear any clicking or ticking or any mechanical noise inside the crankcase or bell housing or transmission or anything that seemed abnormal or like we had any major mechanical issues. So it sounds like a really bad exhaust leak, and I'm hoping that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and try to cinch down the header bolts, see if any of them are loose, see if I can physically find anywhere where the header gasket has blown out, and we'll go from there. Zach, I could use a universal. Yeah. We definitely had a few loose bolts. I wouldn't call them crazy loose by any means, but I was able to snug them up a quarter turn or so. We'll start the car back up. Zach's taking the engine cover off so we can listen from the top as well. We'll see if the sound changes at all. If it's been reduced, then we're, pretty sure what our issue is. I think if it is a header gasket, I don't think there's any just tightening it back up and hoping for the best. Most likely we'll end up having to tear the exhaust off and entirely replace it. So. That sound is not good. That's closer to what we were hearing whenever we had the problems initially. At this point I'm thinking it's not exhaust, so we're gonna keep diving into this thing. We'll go ahead and pull the front engine cover off in the passenger compartment, and we'll see what we can find out there. But it definitely changed the noise, the pitch, when it's happening, everything after we revved it a couple times. Alright, boys and girls, we've got issues. We don't fully know what they are yet, but the sound is definitely not exhaust related. The sound's either coming from the clutch, flywheel, throw-up bearing, pilot bearing area. You could also hear it a little bit in the driver's side cylinder head, depending on where you put the stethoscope, even up front and some of the front drive accessories. So we don't know what it is. It could be in the lower end of the engine, it could be a front drive accessory. We're unfortunately just gonna have to quit for tonight and lose sleep for a few days.
I'll probably lose more.
And we'll continue. So we'll pull the oil filter. We'll probably cut it apart, see if there's any metal shavings in it. Look for potential IMS bearing failure. We will pull the serpentine belt off the front of the engine and start it without that to see if the noise goes away, to see if it's maybe a water pump, which would be great if that's the case. if neither of those two things have an obvious impact, then we may end up having to drop the transmission and seeing if there's any flywheel or clutch issues.
It just happened like abruptly. We were on our way back from the Autocross. I felt something didn't feel right with the car. We pulled over, he drove it, he thought everything was fine. He said he thought he heard a slight rattle. And then I drove it to work on Monday, came straight over here, and about 2 miles into the drive, it died on me when I came to a stop, and then whenever I restarted, upon acceleration, there was a ticking that would fluctuate between bad and worse and not at all, and now it's just what you guys have heard on the video. So
if anybody out there has heard an IMS bearing failure or heard any similar sound in a Cayman or a Boxster or a 911, please let us know. You know, we only have so much experience with the Porsche flat sixes, and you guys have seen all of that experience. So we're by no means experts. We could definitely use some suggestions if you guys have any.
At the Autocross, the only thing that I could see, it died on me twice during hard deceleration, like hard braking. It died on me, and at the time I didn't know if it was me not working the pedals correctly. But I did feel like the car died on me, and now that it did it once I was off the track, I just was on a normal drive, and I had a light turn red and I had to brake a little faster than usual, and it did it again. So
the only thing with that though is that 102 extender was loose, so if there was fresh air getting in, maybe it was screwing with the ECU, and that could have caused that. So
just if anything makes sense to anybody, don't hesitate to reach out.
Please do.
Yep. So we're gonna have to leave this one for the first time ever to be continued.
Dun dun dun.
We'll see. Stay tuned.
Thanks, guys.